rifling through those long boxes.
Gotta be here, it's gotta be here, it's gotta be here. Aha! Here it is!
And bagging those books.
I'm out of bags and boards again.
Welcome to your home for Star Wars comics.
The Cosmic Force Podcast,
A Youtini Podcast Network production. And now, here are your hosts, Parker Kirk, Caleb Lamanek, and Jacob Bosch.
now go!
Welcome everyone to the Cosmic Force, your bi-weekly Star Wars comics podcast. We're here on youtube.com/Youtini Vault every other Wednesday, as well as your favorite podcasting app. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. If you want to support the show, you can head on over to patreon.com/Youtini for where as little as $5 a month. You can gain exclusive access to the entire Youtini podcast network of shows. I will just go ahead and throw out at the start of the show, we're going to be undergoing some format changes on this podcast pretty soon. I just said we were on Youtini Vault every other Wednesday. That's not even going to be true anymore pretty soon. So this is, believe it or not, our last video podcast. However, you cannot get rid of us. If you have a podcasting audio platform, you can still find us every other week yapping about Star Wars comics for entirely too long. But, this is a, exciting new era of the Cosmic Force, a volume 3, if you will, I suppose, of going all audio only. But I think it's for the best for all of us. We're going to be really excited about that. But there's also just a lot happening with Youtini. If you've been keeping an eye on the main YouTube channel, you've kind of seen that the past month or two now.
Months. Yeah, I think mostly Caleb, he said in the pre-show he was just tired of making his bed for this, so we're going to audio so you don't have to see
my messy bed in the background.
Have to pretend to be clean. I was tired of hiding stuff out of frame of the video.
I was also making my bed in the background. This nice little IKEA cubes. I only really drag out, one, to have a little depth to the shot, but two, because what's behind it is a mess. So it does not normally sit in the middle of my bedroom.
Yeah, I have no idea how old any of our listeners are, but throwing your dirty clothes in your closet does not stop when you're an adult.
I have a pile of clean clothes that are not put away on the floor next to me. Does that count?
I've got some of those as well. Yep.
Yeah, see, it's when you're adult, it's clean clothes.
Yeah,
okay?
It's clean and eventually maybe folded, but still not put away.
Right. Yep. But hey, how y'all been doing? So if you've been listening to the podcast, we've been consistent through the holiday break. However, we recorded those episodes a month ago. So this is the first time we've all been chatting.
It was all just technological tricks.
Some magic, some banking of episodes. But yeah, how have you all been doing? How was your holidays? How's life?
Really great, actually. Since with my new job, I had from nearly 2 whole weeks completely off. It was nice, but the first week off was because it was the holidays and Christmas. We spent every day going to different cousins or going to different family members. And it wasn't until actual Christmas Day where the only time we left the house was get Chinese takeout. That was the only time. So it was good. It was good. Very restful, very nice. Glad to be back. Glad to kind of I avoided the New Year's sickness, thankfully, but I think my wife just came down with it, unfortunately. So, not so good on our side. What about you guys? Any sick family members?
Oh, I've got a 2-year-old, now 2-year-old. He turned 2 yesterday, and thank you, and a 4 and 6-year-old niece. So yeah, we're just sort of perpetually sick. I just kind of came out of it. My wife now sort of has it. Because she's got all those same family members plus another one growing inside of her, which makes her even more. That's pregnancy.
I think that's the first official announcement.
Yeah, I guess I haven't mentioned that on.
I wasn't sure if you were going to mention that. So
yeah, it's not a secret. We talk more about comics than our real lives.
Yeah.
I'm having another kid this summer, which is exciting. But turns out it's really hard on your body, apparently. So we've got plenty of that in my house. Otherwise, holidays were good. Everyone came to visit us, and a lot of our family lives here in Dallas, so it's all pretty easy. Any cool presents though?
Hold on, Jacob. I
guess Jacob started, but you didn't get to talk about your family.
My birthday was also yesterday. I turned a very young 28 years old. So
that's right.
Nice. I guess me and Oz Jr. a little over here share a birthday, which is cool. just slightly apart in years.
And for the record, he is the 5th.
I was just, again, saying Oz Jr. as like, this is a generic for someone's kid, not just doxing your child.
We take it very seriously in our family.
But the other thing, I did get married over over break, so that was fun.
I am not wearing mine.
So I have a nice like distraction when I'm in class now. It's like, oh yeah,
dude, it's the best.
Well, and mine also is engraved, so there's a pattern with it too, so I can just like look at all the little kind of marks as I'm going around. So
now, is it engraved in Arabic, or were you not that big of a nerd?
No, I
did not. I love you, I know.
No, it is. I think it's called a wheat pattern. There's no way this is focusing at all. I can send a picture to you all in Slack. It's called a wheat pattern, but it matches Emily's rings. So,
okay.
But yeah, so that was fun. Gifts, you did mention that. I got nubs for Christmas because when you're dropping all the money on a wedding, you don't need to go crazy with Christmas at the same time. But
dude, that's so rad. I gotta get one of those for my definitely.
I mean, there's like 3 different types of nubs plushies because there's this one, I think a different one that might only be at the Galaxy's Edge Park that's a little smaller, and there's also one that has like a what's the is it like Teddy Ruxpin? Like the dolls from like the 80s that have like it has like a weird like I don't know if it actually talks, but it has lines on its jaw like a kind of a puppet. So it's strange.
Interesting.
But yeah, there's like 3-ish different nubs plush styles.
I've got the ornament, which is probably as much as I need right now. But that plushie that's on the back burner here.
I was about to say, get it while it's there. I got a surprising amount of, since we're talking Christmas gifts, Star Wars books. Like I got like 4 different Edge of the Empire splat books, like extra books, and I got my favorite one for my favorite class. It's the Scoundrel one. I love the name. It's called Fly Casual.
Yeah,
that's my personal favorite. I didn't like it. We got the Star Wars cookbook as well, the Galaxy's Edge official one.
Okay, yeah.
So we'll want to do that maybe for Youtini Con. But I also got the Flavors of the Multiverse, which is the D&D version of that.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Well. And then the big one, the actual slightly relevant one,
Afro Omnibus.
The Afro 2020 Omnibus. I reread the first arc. I'm like, damn, this is a lot better than I remember. This is actually really good.
It's so sad to see it so skinny though. We don't need to open that.
Only 15 more issues. We've been here. Not going back down that road. Oh, and you got the first one.
Yes, it's like mismatched. It's like twice the size as the other one.
Yeah, my comic store has the volume 1 omnibus, and I just have to stare at it every time I walk in. It's been there for months. I'm like, I want it, but I should not.
But also, I will say, reading something this big, it feels like it's like the 1800s, and you're the patriarch's tongue the family Bible.
Yeah. I read the KOTOR Omni, so that's nothing compared to
exactly. But it feels like you have to crack it open and have the lexicon out so it actually doesn't destroy your.
I don't know. Omnis do take legitimate work to make sure you don't destroy them. So
yeah.
But
especially because they cost $100, and so you don't want to a trade paperback is $10. If I get it messed up, who cares?
Oh well, actually, I mean, some of the Omnis are pushing 150 now, so that's
that's 100 plus.
Yeah,
thanks inflation.
I pretty much feel like everyone in my family, I don't tell them, don't buy me Star Wars stuff, but in general, Star Wars is kind of my main hobby. So if there's something I want, I just buy it myself. So my family didn't really get me any Star Wars thing. I did end up with we did a Youtini Secret Santa, and the person who had me got kind of mad because I put no notes because for that same reason, I don't know, be creative. So this girl Hannah who got me went all out, and I got 2 custom mugs, one for Star Wars Hunters, and one for Servants of the Empire. She had these. I was gonna say she made them herself. She had Walgreens make them. These are kind of like my meme loves in Star Wars. Hunters, because it's a game that may never exist here, and Servants of the Empire because I actually genuinely really like it. And then also bookmarks featuring the characters, and which of course we are going audio only, so this is kind of our last time to get to do a little gift display. And then a 2024 Hunters desk calendar with different characters. And hey, this is comics relevant.
Amarià Vex.
Amarià Vex is our January character. So that was, I had no idea what to expect, and yeah, she killed it. That was really cool.
So speaking of Shadows of the Empire, is there anything else you want to Servants of the Empire. Servants of the Empire. Is there anything else you want to share?
So so with this being my love, we did months ago a round table revisiting these books, me and a few other Youtini guys, and we love.
It's on Patreon. If
it's
you
on
want to listen to
Patreon, which I guess maybe at some point will become public. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Changes to Youtini.
We did a very cool
publication. Might be weird now.
We don't know everything, but we did. We talked for like an hour and a half about these books, and we love them. But our biggest takeaway was that the covers were kind of boring, and the fact that they're like small little paperbacks are limiting. And we wish that they were adult Del Rey novels. So I went ahead and I made that happen, and I got a custom printed hardcover with sprayed edges, of course, of these books. I designed a cover, and then I even reached out to Jason Fry, and he signed them. He signed a bookplate for each of them, and I gave them to each of the guys who did that. There's pictures I haven't posted yet, but I'm going to post on the Smugglers group if y'all are in it, and I'll probably put it up on Reddit. You can find if you just search "custom Servants of the Empire." I'm sure there are not a lot of thing.
Or Oz, you can also put it in our dedicated Discord channel.
I can put it in Discord.
Podcast.
I always forget him. I'm 35. I'm so bad at using Discord.
Like I'm 31 now, and I feel like I'm too old for Discord.
Yeah, but anyway, that was I get really into custom projects, and that was one of my favorite that I've done.
Yeah. Now, Oz, I do have to ask. Like that looks really, really cool. Were you ever how did you get it printed like through copyright? You know,
hush.
So you can do it. I mean, I think they're all automated, but apparently, because I was talking to some guys who've gotten these made about tips and stuff, and he was like, "Hey, maybe hold off for a minute because they're doing like a wave of bans." So actually, the first time I ordered it, the order got canceled, and he was like, "Just wait a month, 6 weeks." And I did, and it went through. Yeah, I should point out this is unauthorized, but
you're not selling.
I will not be selling it. If you want a copy, too bad. You can make it yourself. Jason Fry has said he's cool with it. I know that he has no ownership of the copyright at all, but I don't know that Disney Lucasfilm Press is going to be too pressed about this. That was not meant to be a pun, but I don't think they're going to be coming for me. These are common in the Star Wars book nerd community. People do this stuff. I own, I already own these books. I've owned them for almost a decade now.
Usually it's the people that are like, I'm going to make my custom set of the X-Wing books as hardcovers. I own 3 other sets of these books. It's not the people that are, haven't read it before.
That's exactly who helped me out was Herm.
Oh yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Has the coolest X-Wing set that's out there. He got them custom painted. Yeah, it's a very cool set. But so that's my big Christmas haul.
Yeah. Well, I think we can really quick rapid fire with what we're reading since we have a lot to talk about this week.
Yeah.
There were so many not just like comics that we missed during our break, but very important comics wrapping up very important things. So the quick things that I usually do a lot of reading over my winter break from school. Getting married did not really it was not conducive to that. My normal binge of reading like 5 or 6 novels in like a 2-week period. So I have been reading a lot of the 1977 Star Wars run. I'm like 20 something issues in, I think. It's cool. It feels a lot more. I always think in my head, it feels more like Hanna-Barbera cartoons than it does Star Wars. It's just very wacky. I did read all the Don Juan Quixote stuff and all that good stuff. But so I've read a lot of that. And then in Jackson, I've met Valance now. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
And the one book I finished was Crash of Fate. And I enjoyed that. So
that weird Galaxy's Edge publishing initiative.
It at least felt a little bit more organic than some of the other ones that I've read.
It's like barely related to Star Wars.
Yeah. It's like,
I think Hondo makes an appearance maybe.
Hondo is mentioned. He doesn't actually show up, but they're at his his
he owns
yards,
the shipping facility,
and they do mention the Ronto roasters and stuff like
of
that.
Course.
Essentially, but
it's not like Princess and the Scoundrel, which I finished reading I didn't even have that written down, but yeah, I finished reading that on New Year's Eve. I was like, whenever that book came out, I got it, and it has been sitting half read for like a year and a half. I liked it. It was fine,
fun. Some of the ads for the no longer functional hotel are
it was really
bad.
weird reading it after the hotel's already closed, because now it's just irrelevant. It was a decent story. I think it could have been more, but I don't think that's Beth Revis's fault. I think she kind of had her hands. I felt the same way about Black Spire or whatever it's called.
Black Spire.
Yeah, that Delilah Dawson loved Phasma. Thought Black Spire was just okay. Anyway, so that, and then just yesterday, Ultimate Spider-Man #1 finally came out. I have mentioned the Ultimate books more than a few times already on this podcast. The first issue came out. Quick review. It's great. That's all I'll say.
Nice.
Caleb, you're up.
Cool. After 2020, because I got that, haven't done too much art comics here. This year, I've decided to for my like audiobook listening. This might sound a little sacrilegious, but I decided, I think I've listened to like a lot of like pulp fantasy and like pulp Star Wars, and just kind of like, I don't want to say like lowbrow stuff, but just like a lot of like we'll have like fun, happy sort of things. So I wanted to get into more literature this year, so I decided to take the Great American Undertaking, and I started Moby Dick.
Man, really starting with an easy one.
Well, here's the thing, guys. I don't know if you know this, but Moby Dick kicks ass. It's good. It's like really good.
No.
It's like really, really good.
I mean, I'm not surprised. It's typically these books that stick around aren't bad. I was going to mention some by name, and I was like, no, I don't want to offend any people. But there are most of the classics are classics for a reason.
Jane Eyre slaps. It's like the one that I like have read that actually enjoyed. Catch 22 is all right. I don't know. I don't want to start going through AP Lit.
I like Catch 22 a lot. But I wasn't forced to read it. Kind of like any book you had to read for AP Lit. It's like instantly degrades it like 3 pegs down.
Yeah, a few years ago, and by a few I mean it's literally was 10 years ago now. It was 2014. I was like, I'm gonna set out and read every book I was assigned in school, because most of them I didn't read when I was a kid. I was a bad student.
You mean you were an efficient student? I was an efficient student too.
Yeah, it's true. I still got all A's. I read a lot of Spark Notes in high school. I made it through like 4 or 5 books, and then actually it was about that same time I started reading Star Wars books, so that got in the way of reading Watership Down.
I liked all the books I was assigned in AP Lit, except for As I Lay Dying. I don't remember who wrote that book. That book
that's
sucked.
Faulkner, I think.
I think you're right. That book sucked. Anyways, and enough about our high school reading habits and the classics. Fellas, there is a insane amount of comic book things that happened while we were gone. I'm sure there's some news that I am not remembering off the top of my head that happened. Maybe I will do
The only thing I can think of is just today they announced the Kanan.
Oh, Kanan's getting an Epic collection as well as
which
some
is
Legends
nothing,
comics.
just an old.
I was supposed to say, I feel like they already told us they were doing that a while ago. Maybe I'm losing.
No, they were doing a Star Wars 2015 Star Wars Epic collection.
That's right.
That might be what you're thinking of.
They are not doing a Poe Dameron omnibus
or an Epic collection, but they're doing a Kanan Epic collection, as well as a Rebellion Volume 6 Epic collection with Shadows of the Empire, Scoundrel's Wages, and a lot. Okay, Shadows of the Empire does not look like Evolution for some reason, and a lot of random stuff, and some Star Wars Tales things. And then they're doing a New Republic Volume 8 omnibus or Epic collection. I don't know if they've announced a 7, but I see a 6 and an 8 in front of me. Anyways, that one's going to have Invasion, all of the Invasion stuff for New Jedi Order. So, if that's your thing, go pick up those later this year, later in the fall. I think September for the first one and October for the second, as of now. But anyways, I will
think
check.
That's all the news. Yeah.
I'll double check while we're getting into the conversation. But first off, I think we got to hit Revelations. It's interesting talking about our last episode you listened to was after the Revelations came out, and we were wondering what's going to be in there. I don't know if this is what we expected.
I will say Revelations, it's not what I expected.
Yeah, Revelations 2022 was different. It was a kind of a previews issue told through the story of Vader having these visions via the Eye of the Webbish Bog, and just like, here's the runs, here's what's going to happen next. And that was kind of what it was. It was pretty straightforward. And this one was just here's a smattering of short stories written by all the authors. Some of them are very direct. Here's what's happening next in my comic book. Then there are many authors that we don't know what they're doing next. So it'll be like, here's a story, and it's continued in something.
Yeah,
maybe.
well, the weird thing is it wasn't even like 5 short stories. It was like 5 previews. Almost all of them are literally like
the Vader one is so direct.
I think they're the first 8 pages of each of these books that are coming out, except maybe that the High Republic one maybe will stand on its own. And hopefully we'll get into volume 1 of the High Republic trades.
We should probably run down the list. And also,
way to do it.
You're delusional. This is not. No, this is going in a trade paperback. Let's be real. So we have the first is A Trick of the Mind by Charles Soule. This is for the Star Wars run. Dengar is getting sued for doing some crimes. He's
for doing Dengar stuff.
His defense lawyer is trying to say he was mind tricked by a Jedi. It is not going very well for him. And we're kind of just seeing that. And that is continued into Star Wars. It says continued and Star Wars issue number 44, which is going to be, I believe, because I was looking up solicits earlier today, the trial of Lando after he is admitted to basically being treasonous to the Rebel Alliance.
So the question will be like, are these pages in 44?
Well, because that was like probably not, because that was like a Imperial tribunal or something, right?
Yeah, but then she gets called at the
she gets called by Lando
to represent Lando.
To be okay. So
I think these might be the first 8 pages of issue 44.
It's possible.
I doubt it. I don't know. I think for this one,
I think this is a little bit
she's
too
just going
goofy.
to show up.
Just like
going to be like an asterisk, like, if you want us to know, we'll see her introduction.
Yeah, you could be right.
By revelation.
Yeah, I don't think tonally it's going to match what we were probably getting with Lando's trial.
Yeah, we'll see.
It is highly goofy.
It's very.
I enjoyed it, but it's just gonna be so different. And
I love that big panel of the mythical Jedi.
Yeah. The next one is Tall Tales by Alyssa Wong. This is introducing a new bounty hunter, Raslyn Grace, who is telling the bounty hunters gang, all the people from Just Lucky and RLU, and all the people from the Bounty Hunters comic book and the Bausch crew. All these people are hanging out in a bar, and Raslyn Grace is telling about a job they did for Jabba the Hutt, going after some Cathar twins. And then at the very end, it's teasing her next job is going after Aphra. And it's like continued in, we don't know, because we don't know. Again, as of recording this, we don't know what Alyssa is writing next.
It just says to be continued.
Yes. ... So, I mean, I enjoyed that one. It's nice seeing all of the bounty hunter people together. I don't know when this takes place because I don't think Valance would willingly hang out with all the people that just betrayed him like 2 issues ago in Dark Droids. So, like, Dirge is there.
Yeah, Dirge being there is curious.
Okay, yeah. Like, I was supposed to say, Valance here, but it's like he only appears in the background.
He's in the background, but...
So I just got caught up on bounty hunters last week. In anticipation for the big finale, and this is exactly how Dirge shows up in the book. He's just suddenly hanging out at a bar with them. And I don't know. So it could be when obviously we've got what's her face with
Boss
the feathers
was there. Diva.
Yeah, Diva Lompa, which she doesn't even really talk. She's just there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, most of them don't talk.
It's all Glub Shido moments.
So this.
Death Stick's there.
Could be hinting towards a new Aphra volume. It certainly kind of seems like it. We've been speculating for months.
Yes, but something is happening. We're not sure what it's going to be. Then the next one is Stolen Hope by Ethan Sachs. We're getting back to this is very straightly just a preview. It's about Django on a mission in the slums of Nar Shaddaa, looking for the hope of Glee Anselm. Some stolen treasure. This is just a preview for his Jango Fett miniseries that is starting in February,
something like that.
Early this year. It'll be coming soon.
Yeah, I don't think there's any chance this isn't pages from issue 1.
Correct.
Maybe the first 8 pages. I don't know. Who knows?
But he is after this treasure, but at the same time, Aura Singh is after him. So
Now, the creature he's tangling with, I'm just scrolling for the images here. Is that the same like creature that attacked his son Boba Fett in the Book of Boba Fett in the desert? That like
no, I know what you're talking about. That was
the Mortal Kombat looking thing.
Yeah,
that
Jason and the Argonauts looking.
Yeah.
No. That one had it had 2 legs and like 8 arms, and it was a lot more like
humanoid,
ape-ish looking. Chest. Yeah, it was very much a Spy Kids 2.
How fitting.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But yes, so I don't know. I'll be interested to see if this whole mini series is like a heist kind of setup, or how that'll be.
Or like, is it an adventure like Indiana Jones and Boba Fett and the Treasure of Glee Ansem or something like that?
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'd be down for that.
Here's gonna be my wild prediction. Now that we know Aura Singh is in here, Beckett's gonna show up and kill her at the end. Yeah.
Well, no, Django's still here, so that means the timeline wouldn't work.
Well, I mean, we don't know.
Aura Singh has to be in Clone Wars, and Django dies before the Clone Wars.
Dang. I just got timelined.
Damn. But yeah, like maybe we could still see Beckett. He was kind of an old hand at that point. So
yeah.
Who knows what our
No, there's no way Beckett shows up.
What about Bosk? I think Bosk might show up.
Bosk could, because he's part
Bosk could, yeah. Crew. And he hangs out with Boba as like, bratty kid Boba.
Yeah.
So then the next one we have is Showdown at Ocean's Deep by Mark Bernardin. This is a preview for the new Mace Windu miniseries. And he is undercover posing as a security guard on a prison, kind of giving some Andor vibes here. But he is after a rogue warden who has been selling a skeleton key to prisoners all across the galaxy. The convicts are on the loose, but Mace Windu is determined to stop that. So that'll be fun, Now,
this one, I wouldn't be surprised if like these pages here wind up in the first issue of Mace Windu.
I mean, it literally says to be continued in Mace Windu #1. So
hey, the first one says to be continued in Star Wars 44, so you can't use that logic.
Yeah.
But I agree. This is not a thing that like could just be a story that if you read Revelations you saw a bonus story like this.
It made no sense for them to start with him just powering up through and getting decompression sickness, because that's what happens when you swim from 20 meters in.
It's fine. He's got the Force.
He goes from undercover to not undercover so fast. He's just like, by the way, I'm a Jedi.
I'm like tired of I don't do deception except when I'm
he's got a breakaway costume. So
yeah. This didn't really get me hype for the series, but also it's just a quick setup. It's hard to really judge from this.
We didn't. There are no shatter points that we have seen in this first one. I'm sure it's going to happen eventually.
And if not in this, we've got a novel coming this.
We got a novel, the Glass Abyss or whatever.
Yeah,
I kind of forgot that was happening already for some reason.
I forget every day, and then I wake up. Oh yeah,
I was like, it's just the Living Force and High Republic this year, right?
Yeah.
No, we got one more.
We get 2 prequel books.
So the next one is Tool of the Empire by Greg Pak. This again is straight up a preview for Darth Vader, because is previewing Darth Vader 42, which came out as a recording 1 week ago. I've already read this. We do meet the squad that's teased at the end of it, so it is his next, posse, his little A team that he's trying to put together of cyborg rebel agents that he has hijacked with his new droid Scourge powers. So,
that's why I think that the Star Wars, whatever, we're not going to keep going back.
Yeah.
Well, we'll discuss next month, and I'll tell you how I was right.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember this issue that well. I don't remember how much of this was in there. Obviously, he does meet them eventually, and he takes them over. It was all right
now. But yeah, carry on. This it was an odd issue. I mean, this whole Vader run has been odd.
It has been odd. We've gone from him trying to have the handmaidens as a squad to I don't know, basically like just Ochi,
and then he had the droid bounty hunters there for a while.
It's been a lot. Yeah, he had all the droids and Valen.
He had a big round one. That's the only one I remember.
That is the same. And then now the last, or no, we have two more. We have All the Republic by Cavan Scott. This is following Kyiv. She's on a mission near the edge of the Nihil collusion zone. There's reports of a rogue or mystery Jedi on the ground, so she's going to investigate that through kind of a torn-up city and encounters some Nihil resistance. Turns out the Jedi was just a literal random dude that found a lightsaber on the ground, and she's able, with his help, to take down the Nihil raiders on the ground. And this is just a vague to be continued in the High Republic. I mean, it's Kyiv content. We can't really complain. It looked great.
Yeah. I love
it's there to get the more casual Star Wars comic fans like, hey, High Republic looks
High Republic's cool,
doesn't it?
You should check that out.
We got lightsabers and Jedi and like cool badass raiders. It's
and
cool.
giant Stormwalker robots. I mean, little mech action. That's pretty sick. And then we have one final one. This is potentially, I would say, the most interesting of the set. It's Duel of the Reprobates by Mark Guggenheim, following Legends comic Galupshita legend Rick Duel, the main lieutenant of Jabba the Hutt. So he says, it kind of tells his history of how he, was in debt to Jabba, like so many others, and got pulled into his employ, all of his escapades, and now he is being sent by Jabba or by Bib Fortuna on a new mission that we're not told what it is, but he's being joined by Danny Gamel and Cheeto Joe. One is a Zeltron and one is a Rodian. I think one of them is Legend. I think the Zeltron might be in Legends. I don't remember.
I think they're both technically.
I just kind of assumed they both were his OG friends or something.
Yeah. So this is another to be continued. It's not even ... It's ... question mark. So
yeah, I mean, there's obviously a plan here. Like, there's no way they just threw this in there. Like, hey, write a silly story about Rick.
Like, it has mad like like early 2000s like Star Wars funny comics energy.
Yeah,
this is Star Wars Tales.
Like, it's really like I'm seeing. Like, I'm kind of reading through Tales a little bit. I haven't picked it up in a while, but there's a lot of like really like funny ones. Some are actually funny, some are not very funny, but like I'm getting like he's channeling a lot of that energy. Like the final panel is him like, oh no, not these two.
Yeah, like,
the page of all of his, like him running around and telling about all of his adventures, it reminds me for some reason of the Biggs and Porkins vacation issue.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's
like
like Tag and Bink, but yeah,
yeah. And you know what? It's been a while. It's been too long since we had weird, kind of, college humor, goofy vibes like this.
It's kind of like those Jackson issues. Like this stuff totally has a place. I would agree with you. This is probably the best part of the issue because it didn't feel like
no idea.
Yeah, and it didn't feel like just a preview. Plus, it's got all those guys, whatever Boolio is. And I love Boolio from Skywalker. Ovisian, yeah.
Yeah.
I just like seeing those guys. But yeah, this is cool, and it could have almost stood on its own if it wasn't for like that last panel.
Yeah. So it's fun. I'm interested to see where that goes. And I just remember, it was the A cover that people freaked out because you could see Rick Duel in the reflection of Jabba's eyes, but since it was so low res, a lot of people thought it was what's the dude
Dash Rendar.
Dash Rendar. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, I mean, he does look like a low budget Dash Rendar.
But so okay.
Speaking of the cover, there was one more little bit of
Thrawn.
This issue. Thrawn was on the cover, of course.
Hey, he was in this issue because it gave a few preview panels from Star Wars or Thrawn Alliance's #1 at the end of the issue.
Yeah,
for some reason.
There are two black and white pages shown, and they've already been released.
They were posted on Twitter. Yeah,
before this issue came out. So yeah, this issue. And it also shows some variant covers for it.
Yeah.
It was weird. I liked the other one better because at least it kind of had a narrative flow, and it wasn't just like previews.
And it didn't have how many? Wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different little things they're trying to tie together.
But then I know that this is a weird little meta thing, but the cover, yes, it's comics. Covers are misleading, but when it's a preview issue, you kind of expect each thing to sort of tie in, because there's Leia on the cover. I don't know why. Luke is on the cover. Don't know why. Thrawn is on the cover. I mean, I know why. It's because he sells books, but shouldn't be.
Like Lando did, like only made a verbal appearance.
Right.
I don't even know who this like
The hooded person
and then
is.
who is the hooded character?
Are they really going to try to tell us that's
Rick Duel?
Rick Duel, really?
Yeah, like
There's no way.
No, it makes no sense. We clowned ourselves for a while before this issue came out, and
It's Kira.
yeah, or like it's Amadeo.
Amadeo Zazo.
Yeah,
Or it's somehow Aslan Rel again.
yes. Any of those I think make more sense than what ended up happening. Whatever. Also, I will go ahead and take the L here. I looked through Vader 42. None of those pages are in it. It is totally different. So maybe I'll be wrong. I at least hope that these mini stories get into the trades. But I went ahead and bought the floppy because I've been burned too many times.
I'm gonna say something so weird. If it was Dark Horse collecting these, I believe they would do it.
Oh, now we don't know when they would do it or how
it would be
or
2
what
years from
size.
now.
Yeah, what size they would be, but they would be in there.
Yeah, Marvel, not so much.
So that's
but
Revelations. We thought it was going to be
More
bigger than it was.
I think the big thing is we just don't have much more direction than we did before it came out.
It feels like we got that PS2 demo disc that came that with,
Yeah.
It-
we got
the-
to play the first level of a couple different games.
but yeah, it's especially with two runs coming to an end. I thought I'd know a little bit more about what's coming next for us, and I don't.
I would say the one big takeaway is that Alyssa Wong's going to be writing something else, which we already pretty much knew.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping so. We'll see.
I think it's anyway. We'll find out. But
Yeah.
that was Revelations.
So that came out. I'm just going through the calendar. That came out on December 20th. You know what else came out on December 20th?
What's
High
that?
Republic number 2,
Woo!
which was a fun issue. Lorna and Keeve and Scarabda the Hutt are all kind of in a showdown. They're able to turn Scarabda on Lorna because Lorna is the one that killed Scarabda's cousin
Sister.
which was Miarga the Hutt from the first run of Marvel. And then we also see a lot of flashbacks from Keith's past, how Skier chooses her as a master, all building up to a reveal that Skier is still maybe alive somewhere in the Occlusion Zone, driven mad, lost his way. How do you all feel about this?
Like, I feel like it's kind of like Skier's alive ? I feel like they've maybe done a good job of maybe he's not alive. All I've heard they're saying is he's a Trandoshan.
He's alive.
Yeah,
I'm just
right.
It would be fun to see him alive again, but also we know that Keeve is kind of on the chopping block for the dark side, if that makes sense. Like, and that would be like a great sort of thing to seeing her master like go completely loopy, for lack of a better term.
Yeah,
Like, because we know he's infected with that disease that drives
he's like a degenerative disease.
That's
Yeah.
going to drive him mad. So
I feel a couple of different ways about it. One, I didn't realize until issue 1 that we were supposed to think Skier was dead. I feel like I don't remember from Fallen Star or
He
from
was-
issue 15.
Because he was left basically dead for rights, facing down a nameless by himself on the Starlight Beacon.
Was that in Fallen Star or was that in 15?
15?
Okay.
that 15, yeah, that's on the issue.
I guess that's part of my problem with the Fallen Star is like when you're tabbing up the list of names, it's too long to like remember who all died. So okay, I was I guess wrong on that, but then I think I've said this a couple times maybe during like Shadow Starlight talks and stuff. We are not very far into wave 3 or phase 3, and there's already been like 3 or 4 different like
They're not dead.
This
Like-
character's not dead, because it's always like, guys, this character's dead, you have to accept it. And there's one dude who's like, no, I can feel them out there, and then boom. So it's been
Like, we started
Buryaga.
That's like we
Been,
started before this phase season even started. They were like, and Burry's alive.
yeah,
like it's
so
like
it's
they
been Burry, Avar,
I mean, Abra was never dead. That was not a...
no, but Elzar was still arguing with the council, right? Like, Or,
Well, he knew she was alive. He just didn't know where she was.
Okay.
But
yeah, she was still a lost
here,
Jedi.
We had Skier, we
No,
had
Skier, yeah.
we had Burry, we had Lula.
Lula, that's who, yes.
Like Lula was definitely like I didn't even realize
She was
gone.
Because hers was the free comic book day issue earlier this year, but even when that came out, I was like, "There's no way she's dead."
Yeah, and then it happened actually again in Adventures issue 1 with like Farzala.
He is not accounted for.
He's not, but you just know he's going.
Yeah, he's not
to
dead.
be.
He's not dead.
Like,
it's the only character that is dead are the ones you literally saw die, like Orla and Nib. Except Nib is also not dead. And then
like Stellan.
Stellan.
Yeah.
Stellan's like the one
if they did it with Stellan, that would be bad.
Yeah.
Oh, and Estella Morrow, he's dead.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a real bummer. Shout out to his recent
His
Jedi
Young Jedi Adventures appearance.
appearance. Which that's sort of news side today. They released a new trailer, and Lena So is going to be in that.
Lena
show.
So's in it. I think Estella Maru's going to be in it again.
Awesome.
And they're going back to Starlight. They're going to Batu. So I'm really hoping that means Addie Sun Z. That'd be sick.
Oh, dude, that would be so rad, man. That if that show gets that gluppy, that'd be awesome. But yeah, so High Republic Phase 3, I have genuinely loved, and each of those moments works in their story, and so I guess that's all you can really ask for. But when it happens,
the culmination of them,
yeah, it's a lot.
And so, Caleb, the reason I say we know it's him is because I knew he was alive months ago because I think it's Miko Suyan who's doing the connecting covers for the first 4 issues. His 4th one had been a spoiler cover for a while. It leaked a couple months ago that it was Skier. So I knew,
I finally saw that cover yesterday because someone put it up without a spoiler tag. Even though the second it got posted and someone was like, it has a reveal about a character, I go, oh, Skier's alive.
Yeah.
Which is whatever. I don't know him. This could have cool implications for.
I'm sure it will pay off.
So this one I think is maybe the most interesting of the bunch because Skier's arc was in Phase 1 was really good. Him kind of flirting with the dark side, being eaten by a Drangir, or his arm was all Drangir-fied.
Yeah.
There's some cool
away from the Force.
Yeah, we know that Keeve is gonna go, like you said, down the dark side. Shout out to Dooku Jedi Lost for telling us years ago.
It's like 2017 or something, or 2018.
Dude, I don't know. It was a long time ago. It was before we knew about the High Republic. Kevin,
to be fair, we don't necessarily know she goes to the dark side. We just know she leaves the Order.
We actually assume. We just know that one of the lost 20,
someone's named Master Trennis leaves the Order, and Yoda knew them.
2019.
Okay,
April of 2019.
But yeah, so I think that this has cool potential for like Keeve and Skier to whatever. But in a vacuum, I was just kind of like, ugh, here we go again.
Yeah, but so that was. I mean, most of what happened in High Republic number 2. Jumping ahead a week, December 27th, we had Dark Droids number 5, the conclusion of the latest event. We so far have no events on the horizon.
Thank God.
Knocking on wood.
I don't think they teased anything because all the air ones they kept teasing at the end.
I mean, there might be a mini event with Jabba. Let's be real, but
the next crossover is Star Wars Rick Duel. It's like Rick comes into every ongoing series.
I legit think there might be a mini sort of event with Jabba, but I don't
think you could be right.
It might be more like Screaming Citadel event.
It's like, otherwise, why was he the center of that? I'm getting back on Revelations. I'm just so mad about it.
Anyways, so Dark Droids number 5. This is the end of the event. So what happens? The Scourge, after the entire miniseries, finally finds a way to enter human bodies and take over the meat. He's able to take Luke, Leia, and Lando However, like directly after this happens, Ajax comes out, stabs him in the back with this giant like neutralizing sword thing that like captures his essence in a way. And the Scourge is just gone. Like that's it. It's like a flip of a switch. He's gone. I don't know about you guys. I finally went back and read Star Wars 41. I think it was.
I did. Yeah.
Came out 5 weeks ago that we're not supposed to read because it's spoiled.
And it's right. It did spoil it.
That's correct. And then Ajax at the very interesting ending to this comic because Ajax goes back to his like sanctum, back in his priestly garb, and he reanimates the Scourge maybe. And is he a bad guy now? I'm curious. Like I don't know how you guys read that. Like when he's like the fourth revelation or whatever is
us.
All.
Yeah,
and he's holding the little like disc that the Scourge is on. I don't know if he's a threat now.
Yeah,
like I feel like that. Like what he's going to try to do is like I'm going to try to like redeem this like this terrible like literal Scourge and like try to like
it's like a
person.
Oh God, what was the Cosmic Ghost Rider or whatever? Where he has baby Thanos. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's like whatever. If I just try and bring back this cosmic level villain,
Yeah, I've never read that, but I am familiar.
Yeah. I know it's a bit of a trope. I think there are other stories that utilize it, but that's the first one that came to my head.
Yeah, I feel like you're definitely trying to do something like, like this is such a cool concept, but we're going to like shelf it and put it on the backgrounds in case we need to, do it again. The
Rey's New Jedi Order villain is
Ajax Sigma. Oh my God.
Well, that was always the interesting thing because I always felt that like in last year's Revelations, they were building Ajax to be the villain, and then like when we got closer to Dark Droids, I was like writing an article for the website, and I'm like, wait, is he the villain? I'm confused. Who's the Scourge they're mentioning? And then now we're at the point where the event's over. Ajax defeats the Scourge because he has to, and Ajax seems like he's set up to be a potential threat down the road.
Yeah, I need to at some point sit down with a clear head and reread this event in a sort of more organized order because I just did not do a great job following it. Mm-hmm. It's a lot because we've got 4 books all crossing over. I get that, but like and then it all ended so fast. Like you said, he got the meat, and then 2 panels later,
like he's stabbed in the back and it's over.
Yeah.
It seemed like it definitely when I read through it, I'm like, okay, so how are you getting it's done?
Right.
I will say I think it's a nice kind of reflection on earlier in the event. Remember when he's trying to take Vader? And he's like, I can only focus so many places. I'm trying to get into Vader with my droids over there. But then I have the first Ajax crew on my ship right now. And I need to prioritize. Do I take Vader or do I focus on preserving myself? And he focused on preserving himself. This time he does not do that. He I'm going straight in. So maybe it's like this is, that second
Hubris.
Time. Yeah.
I still think that issue that was the highlight of the event for me. I thought that was really cool.
When Ajax loses his church.
When the Scourge is trying to take Vader and then Ajax is raiding the Star Destroyer, that was really cool. Mm-hmm. I don't know how I felt about the event. I think part of it was just event fatigue for me.
For sure.
There's
definitely that.
I don't know. And I think it's a thing like on a reread when you're not having to every month like chase down what's happening, it'll be a little smoother. But I'm very much looking forward to getting on the other side of all this.
Yeah. I think to kind of go back on an earlier point, I don't think even the writers know they're trying to make Ajax a lot more morally complex character. Like I think you're trying to set him up for hey, he has a lot of complicated feelings, he does do bad things, but also he's doing it for the right reason, sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, so far he hasn't. I mean, up to this point, he has I don't know, not been too crazy. Obviously, Loden kills him for some reason. They thought he was a threat at some point.
Yeah,
well, and then he goes back to when he goes back to that planet in the current days, he's and all the locals on the moon are yeah, you suck. Robots go home. It's and then I just started killing them all.
And so anyway, I started blasting.
Yeah,
I mean, really. So I feel
here's
they're trying to. That's what they're trying to set him up. Is he's trying to do the good thing, but he's also not a good person. I don't know. I feel like the Book of Ajax still needs like a couple more chapters.
That would
That's
be so we know that at some point these comics are going to reach Return of the Jedi.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe they've got him off doing his own thing right now, whatever, and then he could come in and be a threat after Jedi. Now, I don't know where he fits in because the first year after Jedi leads towards Jakku, and then you've got all this Mandoverse stuff.
And if you wait too long, then also you're getting into
way too close to like.
I was to say Last Shot.
Oh yeah, which actually is kind of fitting. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, maybe they're like he'll be a post Jedi problem. Let's spend the next 20 issues or whatever building towards Jedi.
The Mandalorian movie.
Oh my gosh! Oh yeah, so that was
another thing we haven't mentioned. Yeah, Mando and Grogu is a movie.
Mando and Grogu getting a movie with a title. Not a great one.
My favorite tweet I saw was, "I wish we were back in the day when the person naming Star Wars movies didn't know about SEO."
Yeah.
Wow! Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the title's gonna grow on me. I don't think the concept is really gonna grow on me.
I mean, it's not worth judging it yet. We'll see. But
I spent
we judged it, but
judging it. I would love for it to be amazing.
Yeah.
I want the other 3 movies. We are not a movies podcast. We are a comics podcast.
We're a comics podcast. And there's more comics to talk about, including, unless there's any last thoughts on Dark Droids number 5.
I felt like it was an okay conclusion. I felt like it definitely felt a little rushed.
But
you mentioning,
but I'm glad it wasn't like, I felt like I prefer this over like, and then we have Dark Droids number 6. It's like that.
Yeah. But you mentioning that the Book of Ajax could use some more chapters. Now I kind of want a standalone event called the Book of Ajax. It can include however many characters you want.
It's a little mini-series.
Just don't cross. It can be 10 issues. Pull a Han and Chewie. Just like stop with the crossovers.
Or like, if you do have a crossover, make sure that it's not required reading. Like, just
or just don't. I'm tired of it.
Just don't. Please don't.
It's been 2 years.
Okay, but a week after that, on January 3rd, we also got the conclusion of Shadows of Starlight and Oz. I feel so much vindication because I've talked to several people and they all said, I wish I read this before Eye of Darkness. And we have been preaching this for months.
Yeah. We are not release order truthers. We are timeline truthers is close to what we are.
Yeah.
But we are curated reading order.
And
I haven't read Eye of Darkness. So eventually when I do,
and when you get there, I think you'll be much happier for having read this comics first. I don't know about all the other comics you're gonna have to read, but these 4, I actually, my Emily, she was over visiting yesterday, and I had her read all 4 of them because she hasn't started Eye of Darkness yet. And so this one, we had issue 1 was the Council, Yoda, Azun Rel. Issue 2, Avar and Elzar. Issue 3, Bell and Buryaga. Issue 4 is Marchion. And I had, a lot of interests going into this because I have a lot of, without getting too much into Eye of Darkness, I had a lot of questions about Marchion and his motivations in that book. So I was kind of curious to see what this would bring out. But as I'm pulling up Shadows of Starlight, things that happen there. Marchion we're coming right after the fall of Starlight Beacon. He is created a sort of autonomous state, the Occlusion Zone, and after weeks and weeks of just ragers and parties, Gira Staros approaches him and says, "Hey, do you want to have a legacy? Like we shouldn't just stop here." And we kind of see Marchion, who has gotten rid of his Tempest Runners, build the new formation of the Nihil, which is led by a bunch of ministers. We have. I should have written down what they're actually which the titles are. I think is Advancement or something. Is
Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, Secretary of Treasury.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Yeah, Gira is pretty much the governance. We have General Weiss is back. She's like the Secretary of War essentially.
Yeah,
and then we have Baron Bulin, who is like a technology kind of type dude. He's dealing with the Nameless. Also, the Children of the Storm, which we're starting to see in the Marvel run. So he's just kind of building out his new cabinet here.
He's from Phase 2, so it's worth it.
Bulin and Beast are from Phase 2. So
I totally forgot about Bulin.
Bulin is like, I don't know if you would have seen it. He was one of the one of the children, the littles running through tunnels in Path of Vengeance with the bomb. So
yeah, very deep cut.
But yeah, so it's interesting. I still am not sure what Marchion's his goal is, because Eye of Darkness was like made it seem like there is no goal anymore.
The goal is chaos, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he doesn't really like. That's kind of what they're establishing. It's like it took him like 5 months of his girlfriend pestering him to get a job.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Which I love those early scenes. Like you mentioned, a bunch of partying. It ties back into Light of the Jedi, where there's just all that. Where they've got what's the music they've got?
Wreck Punk.
Yeah. They've got Wreck Punk playing, and they're just doing spice, which is totally not drugs.
Mm-hmm.
That I remember reading that book, and spice is kind of nebulous in Star Wars, but Charles Soule was like, spice is drugs.
They were doing smash bulbs. Thank you very much.
Did they not mention spice at all? Okay,
it was smash bulbs.
But yeah, then they're all just like ride the storm and snorting lines of cocaine, basically.
Yeah.
And then Gira, which I loved Edge of Darkness, Eye of Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that this really fleshed Gira out even more than Marchion.
Yeah, Gira was great in this issue.
She definitely seems like a lot less like, like, oh boy, I sure do like having sex with my super hot, off species boyfriend,
which was basically her arc in the Fallen Star.
Exactly, That seemed like boy, I do love that Marchion. I'm sure apparently number one.
Apparently, he's good at it based on her points of view in that book.
Exactly, but now it definitely seems like it's like I left this thing so I can be like a super, the number 2 to the number 1, so I can actually have.
And in Eye of Darkness, she almost seems kind of naive in the way she's trying to mediate with the Republic. But here, I feel like you see her cunning a little more. Now, I think she's still in over her head.
Yes.
And clearly not really aligned with what Marchion wants. But I dig the vibe.
Another question I have relating to this, the Fallen Star, because like in the Fallen Star, we are seeing him like basically sending every single person off of the Gaze Electric. He's like, trying to get rid of all of them, pretty much have like a empty ship run by droids because he doesn't trust anyone. He's trying to distance himself from everyone. And now his ship is a club. Well,
in the High Republic Adventures, his ship had a Berghoff like fighting ring as well.
Oh, I remember.
So that short story is so good.
But now it should be like what? Why are we like sending everyone off? He like makes a point of everyone is left, and a single week after it is over, he is hosting a rager on his ship.
I guess they all had to come back somewhere.
I mean, I guess. I mean, No Space is probably. Are they still in No Space? I don't think they are. I think
they're past No Space now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now they're in the occlusion zone.
Yeah.
They gotta leave it open for the Star Wars 2020 run.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, No Space is,
the
still
Kesric
around in
have to
200
show
years.
up at some point.
But yeah, so I feel like this series kind of served as basically like a prologue for Eye of Darkness. Now you get some stuff told twice, whichever order you go in, and I think I think they handled it well.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I think by all means read this first.
I think the big one with this for me was like in the book, it's like here is this secretary, here's the minister, here's this minister, here's this minister. These are their jobs. They're here. In this one, you're kind of seeing how they get brought into the fold, which I think is a little bit more interesting way of introducing them as characters.
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, obviously, Gear is her own thing, but
yeah, and it depending on how well you remember names. Like when I first read General Vice, it didn't trigger for me that was from
the Blade.
From the Blade. But then when I saw her, I had already figured it out by then. Had I seen this first, I would have been like, oh yeah, that's Porter Engel's arch nemesis.
Also, so cool that she because V starts off on this like planet that Marchion's gonna go try and raid, and she's like an advisor or whatever to like the local government.
To be like when I was first reading this and they showed that image of the things, like, wait, I had to quickly do the Wikipedia search. Like, is that the planet from Porter Ingles thing? It's like,
no.
I was like, oh, it's not.
Thing,
but then I scrolled down and saw her. It's like, oh, okay, that's cool.
But the funny thing is, she's like on this planet as like a retired military person, but like they have her kind of as a civilian advisor, and they're like, oh, we have heard the great tales of how you saved everyone on Gan Savor. She like, killed everyone and like took out like, and Porter had to stop her, but she has like spun this narrative that she was actually the good guy there.
And then she does it again right here.
Yeah. And then she gets them to hand over control of the defense capabilities, and she just literally like points the gun down and shoots the city.
Yeah, so rad.
It's very much a kind of like a don't give your passwords to anyone you don't trust,
Yeah,
you need two-factor on your guns probably.
No, she's hardcore.
Do people have like a minister they think is the most interesting coming out of this comic book?
I do like the Minister of War. I do like, I like that she has that history of Porter Ingle. That I feel like that's going to be like fun to see moving forward, because I love Porter Ingle.
It will be.
Yeah. Broken Blade coming maybe.
Oh, I was talking about the book Caleb has not read.
Oh,
yet,
yeah. Porter's got the best parts of the book. I'm a Bulin fan already. I was when I read the book, just because like creepy mad scientists are always fun.
Oh, yeah. Thorians.
Yeah, and dude, a Thorian, objectively one of the coolest species in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's messed up. The way he talks to Marchion and like doesn't back down. He's like, look, if you want me to work for you, this is what you're gonna do for me.
Right.
And he's like, why would I do that? He's like, you're gonna do it.
Also, it's Baron now. I have a title now.
Oh, that's
yeah. Yeah, I think Baron Bulin is my most interesting character as well. Because he's going to be probably in the main Marvel comic. I'm interested to see, he might make a cameo in the middle grade book. I don't know that. I've not read it yet. It's out at the end of the month, but
that's the Escape from Valo.
The main villain of the book is his like apprentice. Or something like that.
Okay, cool. Then I bet he'll show up.
Just be there casually. So that was Shadows of Starlight number 4. That has taken us up to the present day, where today, I don't know if we want to really, really quickly, we had Star Wars number 42, which is Luke's. Caleb, I don't know if you've read that.
Yes, it's good.
It's really so good. Luke is back on his Kyber Vision quest. He has returned to the people he met in like issue 34 and 35, the Fallen Asi, I believe. And they're trying to lead him into cleansing this Kyber crystal. He's in like a medieval Sith kind of throne room. It's so sick. It feels, I don't know, it almost felt like Ronin. Like it felt so far removed from the like Jedi Sith kind of dichotomy we know.
And it's fun. It's kind of like, it feels a little bit like, oh, we're going to have like, now Luke fight like against a brand new Sith Lord, but it makes sense that it's kind of like on a vision quest sort of thing.
Yeah, he's inside the Kyber crystal or whatever.
Yeah.
And I love how the Sith Lord is like, oh, I've met Jedi before and they suck. Like, not suck.
Yeah.
We're opposed to them. Like, they're weak because
it's like, how do you even have a lightsaber? Jedi don't have those right now.
Yeah. So it's doing weird amounts of like, I guess maybe Old Republic world building.
The other thing, it reminds me a little bit of like Ronin with how far out it is, but also like the flashbacks in Shadows of the Sith, where that's also very much like we have a Sith in a castle kind of type thing. It does not feel like it feels like Star Wars, but it's so far removed from what we're used to.
Yeah, which I love Jedi and Sith stuff, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wish that these little Luke mini arcs were longer.
Yeah, we'll get one more issue of this, and then we're back to Lando. So,
which is cool. I love Lando.
I'm really excited for the Lando, like, sort of thing. So maybe they'll do 2 issues of that, and then I don't know.
I said to y'all the other day, with all this of bounty hunters wrapping up in Afra, the one thing I want is just like, I would love it all to condense down into just Star Wars as a title, maybe even put it out bi-weekly, and then you could have like a 2 or 3 issue mini arc with Luke, and then jump to Lando, and then maybe even have a little Dr. Aphra story. I don't know. I like these kind of streamlined, which that's sort of what I feel like it used to be. You know, like the 77 run was certainly like that.
Right.
Yeah, they could just do a Han and Chewie issue for a while.
Yeah, right.
Issue, and then all of them together. The Star Warriors is what they used to call them.
Yeah. Which because we did tally up for our year-end issue how many issues there were.
It was like 136 or something like that.
It was too many. It was just straight up too many. But that's a different conversation. This was a very cool issue.
Yes. And then, okay, so we've talked about so many comics. What's coming up next? Well, I'm glad you asked. In the next couple weeks, we have some bangers. We have the last issue of Bounty Hunters number 42. The preview just came out today. R.I.P. Valance. We have that. We have Obi-Wan Kenobi number 4. We have High Republic number 3. We have High Republic Adventures number 2, and we have Thrawn Alliances number 1. So there's some
Bounty Hunters.
We kind of I feel like we have to.
Yeah, it's Bounty Hunters.
Obviously. We have not. I don't even know if we've talked about Bounty Hunters as a focus since this show's been relaunched. So
we have not.
That's shocking from Mr. Team Valance.
Well, not everyone. I don't know if there's ever been a point where everyone's been caught up.
Yeah,
at the same time. So
I think the final issue is a good time for that.
A good time to do a send off to my boy. But yeah, some great comics coming out in the next 2 weeks. But with that said, that'll do it for this week's episode of the Cosmic Force. Don't forget to like and subscribe to us on youtube.com/Youtini Vault for the last time, and where you can find us every other Wednesday. You cannot do that anymore. I need to update the script. We also encourage you to subscribe to our audio version on whatever podcast platform you listen to. You can follow us on Twitter and tweet at the show at Cosmic Force Show to stay informed about the Star Wars comic news all around you. You can also follow the show hosts as well. I'm at Jacob Bausch, Caleb's at Caleb Lamanek, and Oz is Oz. He's just chilling. For reviews, articles, and news for the rest of the wide galaxy of Star Wars content, be sure to visit youtini.com. We encourage you to join our Youtini Discord community by going to youtini.com/Discord, and you can help support the show by heading to patreon.com/Youtini, where you start receiving exclusive perks at just $5 a month. Special thanks to Brian Dooley, Carl Sander, Michael Fry, and Raymond Pazinski on our Jedi High Council, and James T., Ashley Ingalls, Colton Fife, and Chris Carrizo, and Sally and Chris Eilerson on our Alliance High Command for all of their amazing support. Thank you again, Caleb and Oz, for joining me one last time on video, and thank you to all the listeners for joining us on this great catch-up of Star Wars comics. We appreciate you all. May the Force be with you, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.